Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone that rule well. And I want to give peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. To you all, I say Shalom. And, again, I touched on this subject in the past as well. But through the Spirit, the news is coming out about it again today, man. Hold on real quick, and Lord willing, I'm going to get the article real quick, Salakia. But as you see on the screen, what it says is hold on one second, Baba Kashar, Salakia. Could terrorists really black out the power grid? Again, this is a old article through the Spirit. This one is also from 2014. But there are also newer articles about this as well. But this has been a fear for at least a decade, man. 10 years, man. When did this one come out? January 9th, 2023, from Time.com. Is something more sinister going on? Authorities fear extremists are targeting the U.S. power grid. And this one, again from 2014. And this is the article I used originally in my original list a couple years ago. It says attack on 9 substations could take down U.S. grid, man. All right. So there are thousands of power grids scattered through the United States, through Babylon, man. And if you only take out 9 of them in certain locations, man, you have a blackout that could last for 18 months or more, a coast to coast blackout, man. I mean, from California to New York to Florida to Texas to Washington State, all without power, man. All without power, all right? The possibility of a terrorist attack knocking out the power grid makes for a good headline, but could it really happen? The U.S. Federal Energy Regulation Commission, FERC, says yes. Right, that's a government organization that says yes. This is a highly possible and highly likely that this could happen. If terrorists are ever able to knock out 9 of the nation's 55,000 substations, really, so basically a little over 1,000 substations per state on average, the U.S. power grid could suffer coast-to-coast blackouts lasting 18 months or more. There are 30 substations in the U.S. that play a critical role in the nation's grid operations. If any 9 of them were taken offline, there could be widespread blackouts for weeks or far longer, right? So now, let's go to, real quick, 2nd 15 and verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and the Lord's people are the Israelites, man. And the Israelites consists, for the most part, of you so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans in the United States today. But there are other Israelites scattered through the 4 corners of the earth and every nation of the world that may look like even other nations or other nationalities, but they are the children of Israel. They are truly the Lord's people. But the majority of his elect is in the land of Egypt or modern day America. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues, as before, and will destroy all the foundation, Salakia, and destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it, man. Right? Because the ultimate plague, the final plague that the Lord is going to send is the plague of death, man. Just like in ancient Egypt. But in modern Egypt, America, the final plague of death will be used or will be brought upon by thermonuclear missiles, man. All right? That's basically the chariot that death is going to ride on in Babylon, man. But also the Lord's going to destroy people in his chariots as well, man, including the father ship and all the other ships that he's coming. Because he's coming with the host of heaven, man, with the army of heaven, which are the angels, and they're going to be in the chariot as well. which the world ignorantly calls UFOs, man. But these are the vehicles that the heavenly entities ride in, man. Right? So now we see that the Lord said He's gonna bring darkness or the plagues, the same plagues that He did in Egypt, in America. Not only was death one of the plagues He used in Egypt, but darkness was one of the plagues as well, man. And if you read Wisdom of Solomon 17, it goes in detail into that, man. But we go to Exodus chapter 10. Exodus 10. I'll start at verse 20. Exodus 10 and 20. But the Lord Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go, because the children of Israel were held captive in ancient Egypt, and Pharaoh refused to let them go because we wanted to serve the Lord, but Pharaoh refused to let us go, man. So what the Lord do? The Lord hardened his heart so he could show his power, pursuant to Romans chapter 9, man. We go to the book of Romans chapter 9, because, when you have power like that, sometimes you want to show it off and basically give the world a reminder of who you are. Just like he did with the flood, just like he did with ancient Israel. It's like ancient Egypt, and what now he's gonna do in modern Egypt, man. He's gonna show his power, man. Romans 9 and 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Right. And when the Lord did that, he basically put Israel on the map, or Israelites on the map. I put fear in the heart of people, when they came across Israel, man. Right. Let me go back to Exodus chapter 10. Exodus chapter 10 and verse 21. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Right, because it was so dark in Egypt that you could feel it, man. You could feel it. Let me real quick. And the reason I'm bringing this out through the Spirit is I'm gonna show you, because news came out today, man. Exodus 10 and 22. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. It was so dark, but you were scared to leave because you didn't know what the fuck was out there, man. Scripture talks about how the fire didn't have power over that darkness, man. It's not like you could just light a candle, man. Nah, it was black. It was dark, man. It was a different kind of dark, man. And just like when the power goes out in Babylon, it's gonna be a different kind of dark, man. Even though it might not be as physically dark, but when there's no power, hey, everything is dark, man. Because people don't realize how much Babylon depends on the electric grid, man. Everything is on the electric grid, man. Now they're starting to put cars on the electric grid. They want to do that as a source of or a means of control or more control, but really it's gonna backfire on them. With no power, you have no street lights, so you really can't travel at night. You have no gas stations because it's electric pumps that pump gas into the cars, man. You have no hospitals. Your supply chain is broken. Grocery stores will be looted and raided the same day probably. So many things are going to happen. People are going to go hungry. Your children, who you can't stand, your Babylonianized children, your effeminate boys and your masculine girls, man, they're going to have no source of entertainment because, there's going to be no Netflix, no YouTube, none of that, man. So now you got to deal with them 24/7. It's not like you can escape and go to work or drop them off at daycare, man. No, you're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to basically put your life on the line in order to feed them and take care of them. That's if you don't end up eating them in the day of trouble, man. All right? Because this is the times that we're coming into. Scripture talks about how it's a time like never before, man. There hasn't been a time in recorded history or any period of time that's going to be like the time we're coming into, man. Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the people, which standeth for the children of thy people, right? Standeth for the children of thy people. Again, salvation is not for everybody. It's only for the Lord's people, man. And it's not even for all of the Lord's people. It's only for the elect of the Lord's people, man. 2/3 of the Lord's chosen people will have to be deleted, man. Will have to face judgment, man. Will have to see the Lord's wrath, man. Because as the book of Peter says, judgment must first begin at the house of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. All right? And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, man. A time so bad that you're not going to have a time to compare it to, man. A time so bad that you really can't put it into words. It basically just says there has never been a time like this. And it's really that at that. And then when you read through the scriptures and you read about times, hey, the transatlantic slave trade is in the scriptures. You have times 70 ADs in the scriptures. You have times where people were basically boiling and eating their children. You have times of extreme famine, extreme weather conditions, divine intervention. No time is like the time that we're coming into, man. And this is why it's one of the greatest time to be alive right now, man. 'Cause we're about to witness divine intervention on a whole nother level, man. Lord willing, we're part of that number, all right? And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, man. All right? Back to Exodus chapter 10. Exodus 10:23. Once more, they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings, right? Because we're not going to be affected, Lord willing, we're part of that number. We're not going to be affected by the plagues, just like we weren't affected by the plagues in ancient Egypt. We're not going to be affected by the plagues that's going to be put upon modern Egypt, man. All right? And when we go to stay in the second Esdras, we go to second Esdras chapter 2. And 27, second Esdras 2 and 27, be not weary, for when a day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell, right? And hell is not a place where people burn for all eternity. What is a red spiritual being called Satan with horns and a pitchfork poking you, man? No, hell is referring to the grave or a destitute situation, man. All right. So if you're in a blackout and you have light, you're not in hell, man. Everybody else is without light, but we've been given the light because we chose to follow the light, man, and the light being Yahweh Shai, man. All right. So again, could this happen? 100%. Will it happen? 100%, man. When I say this, I'm talking about a blackout in the United States of America, man. All right. And the reason I'm bringing this out through the spirit is because this news came out in New Jersey, man. Feds bust alleged plot to blow up PSENG substations in New Jersey, man. All right. Now I wonder if that's one of the 30, man. One of the key 30 substations in Babylon, man. I'm gonna play a little bit of this clip, get one more precept, and I'm gonna close out, Lord willing.
18-year-old man accused of plotting to blow up PSE&G substations.
Federal agents say they took him into custody after he unknowingly revealed his plan to an undercover law enforcement officer. News 4's Pat Battle has the disturbing details.
Federal authorities say this PSE&G electrical substation off Route 27 in New Brunswick was one of 2 that Andrew Takistov had allegedly targeted, even visiting this site with a man he recruited to help destroy it. Only that man turned out to be an undercover agent.
He was in Scout with my kid.
Boy Scout?
Boy Scout, yeah. And he was pretty good. He's an Eagle. Eagle Scout.
How do you wrap your head around this then?
I don't know. That's a big surprise, yeah.
What could have transpired to take 18-year-old Andrew Takistov from a one-time Eagle Scout to an alleged terrorist? Incomprehensible to Minesh Christian.
This man's name is Andrew Takistov, man. which sounds so-called Russian, man, which is spiritual too, because what does the scripture say, man? You have a nation like the United States that allows or has allowed millions and upon millions of people throughout its borders, not knowing who they are or who you let in, man. You just let in Gog and Magog without you knowing, man. Right? This is the Slocky. Let me go back. Not back, but let me go. This is Ezekiel 38. Let me read the header of this chapter. Salakia, hold on 1 second. Yo! Salakia. But yeah, the header for this chapter is prophecy about Gog and the future invasion of Israel. And when you go into Gog and Magog, when you go into Gog, it's talking about modern day Russia, man. So this, and then you see this nigga, Salakia. This is not this Elamite. But this guy, Andrew Tarkovsky, whatever his name is, hey, he don't tell you how long he's been in Babylon or if he was born here or whatever. But he is, or he was here trying to allegedly blow up a power substation, which could cause widespread blackouts. And which blackouts would cause race riots, man. Because everybody's going to fend for themselves, man. And you're not going to have empathy or pity upon people that don't look like you, man. Slocky, let me go to Second Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Right? Even though Scripture says your neighbor is basically the people that the same people that you descend from, your own people. But this could refer to your literal neighbor too, like people in your neighborhood or people next door to you, right? Because and especially in America, a lot of times you live in a neighborhood, depending on where you live, man, and you can have a multitude of different nationalities in that neighborhood, man. So even though they're technically your neighbor, they're not really your neighbor, but at the same time they are your neighbor. So it could refer both ways in this day, man. But nonetheless, Ezekiel 38, I'm gonna jump down to verse 10. Ezekiel 38 and 10, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, right? To take a spoil, and to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land, right? And this is the spirit that this Edomite came in. If he is an Edomite, man, this is the spirit that this Edomite came in, where basically he came to the land of old world villages, the United States, aka America, man. And his plan was to not usurp it, but cause death and destruction, right, upon a certain people. Because I believe they say that he had a social media post about so-called blacks and so-called small hats, man. Right. But this is the time that we're coming into, man. And this place is unwalled because they allow anybody in, man. They allow anybody in. All right, and now you're seeing the repercussions of that, man. Or not yet, but you're starting to see it, man. Or you will see it once these so-called terrorists get their plan enacted, man. 'Cause, hey, they've been warning you about this for at least 10 years, man. And Lord willing, this happens soon, man. Because this will be huge, man. If the power gets knocked out, man, this will be huge, man. I'm just going to type in Google real quick. Let me see if the Google will tell me. What will be affected in a statewide blackout? Slovakia. I should put nationwide. You'll have significantly more problems than whether you have electricity in your house. National water pumping stations will go dark. The food supply chain will be severely disrupted. Hospitals will not be able to function after they run out of generators. Right? This is actually let me go to this one. Basically, what would happen if everything goes black, man? I'm gonna read that one. What happened? The U.S. had a blackout. Disrupt communications, water, and transportation. So food and water and transportation is already out there. As that scripture says, second Esdras, a man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. You can expect martial law, closed retail businesses, so-called Walmarts will be used as martial law centers, man. If you put Walmart backwards, if you flip the word around, instead of Walmart, you got Mart Law. Grocery stores, gas station, ATM, and banks and other services. Food spoilage, water contamination, prevent use of medical devices. All right. Man, people have no idea, man. People live in a normalcy biased state of mind, man. They don't have no idea what will happen if the lights completely went out, man. As hospital patients in Venezuela found out earlier this year that during a 5-day nationwide blackout, power cuts can do more than just turn off the lights. All right. You got babies in incubators. You got people in ICU. People that depend on life-saving machines. Well, the power gets cut out. I personally know somebody with a pacemaker in their chest, man. The power gets cut out, man. It's over with, man. EMP hits this place, it's over with, man. All right. But I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great Milson that rule well. I want to give peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. Until next time, I want to say Shalom and Abba Babal.